Hello, good evening. My name is Raf. I'll be taking you on a lecture or a class called Flash Fill. What do you do with Flash Fill on the system? Most time you're given information like this, say a full name, having the first name and the surname together, and you want to separate them. All you can do in this way, we can use Flash Fill to do this. And Flash Fill has different styles, formulas which you can use for it. One of it is we can use a control formula for it, which is Control E. So first we write Michael, then you say enter, then you say Control E. By the time you say Control E, you've written out the first name. Then come to this column and also say this is Badejo. So we want to separate this name. We could come here, or perhaps we could drag using our free handle, drag this down. Then you come here, you click this part, then you say Flash Fill. So the system recognizes the first name and the surname, putting them together. That is what we do with Flash Fill. Let's go further to see more of what we can do with Flash Fill. In this next sheet, we have the first name and the surname. So most time we work on an Excel file where we need to bring first name and surname together. We find them difficult, or we key in one after the other, and it takes a lot of time. So what you can also do with Flash Fill is to use Flash Fill to bring these figures, this word that are in different columns together as one. What do you need to do? Say Michael Badejo, Mike Badejo. Then say enter. Then use Control E. Michael Badejo. Then use Control E. When you use your Control E, then the system recognizes this Michael Badejo and bringing everything together. So perhaps we can as well say, okay, let's try this. So after we've done Michael Badejo, we say Ralph, Ralph, Ralph. Then you realize that you needed to drag this down. You drag this down. So when you drag this down, it's repeating everything you have here. So all you can as well do is use Flash Fill. Say Flash Fill. So Flash Fill recognizes. So Flash Fill is not a formula. There's no formula in it though. That if you come here and you are not writing what you want inside column, inside row what you want, like saying here you come to this place and you write Michael, Michael, and say Control E, the system will not recognize this. So what it's doing is it's not recognizing this because we use Control E, because the Michael is not in the same row as it is when we have it here. So that is what Flash Fill does. Let's go to another example. Initial. Now the initial part, we could have name. Now you have colleagues in the office. Most offices make use of initial, where if you're Michael Badejo, they will call you MB. If you're Raf Ashelon, they will call you RA. If you're Chioma Emeka, you will call CE, or Acha or Linus Acha, you will call LA. So what do we do here? So here, what you can do here is say MB. Then you say enter. By the time you say Control E, the system will recognize all the initials, that's the first letters of both names, and bring it in here for you. So that's what the system can do. Let me undo this and say MB. By the time I say RA, then I can also use Control E. So wherever level you are, you can as well still use that Control E to get the Flash Fill work for you. Now let's see what happens for email. Now let's say all of these, they are staff that works at Talk Excel, and we want to have an email for them. So it's so easy. We can say, okay, let's have an email for them. an email, say Michael, let me do this, create a new header, and don't name it yet, call it email, Michael, M-A, Michael, A-E, dot Badejo at talkxl .com. So once we enter and say Control E, then the system will populate emails according to everybody here. Now what happens? You will be wondering, most emails don't come with uppercase, and we have uppercase. If you have these names, the full names in uppercase, and you still want to, let's say email address, and you don't want them to come in uppercase. So let's have an header here and say, okay, we want this to come all in lowercase. So we can as well start with lowercase and say Michael dot Badejo at talkxl.com. Okay, this is .com. So let's see what happens here. Say Control E. Now system takes everything just in. And what flash fill does is flash fill takes care of your first entry. It looks at your first entry over what you have here. So our first entry in column C, that C2 was entered with lowercase, but recognizing all the letters as it is here. So that is what we do. Now if you look closely, you see this is Ralph Ashlono, this is Linus Archer, on and on like that. That is what you can do with flash fill in building emails. Now let's go straight to lower cases. Now in this part we have lower cases. You can see Michael was spelled with M, capital letter M, and Badejo was spelled with small letter B. Ralph was spelled with R, capital R, and the surname was spelled with on and on and on and on like that. You can see what happened all through. So most times there's a proper lowercase we can use where Michael will be spelled with say Michael, and the Badejo will start with B, capital letter B, Badejo. So once you do this, the same way you use Control E. So just easy using Control E to apply flash fill on your data. So as it is, you can see what happened here. This is Rita John, written out in first letter as R, which is capital letter, and the John coming out as capital letter, where you rearrange your file. So let's see what we can do with this. Now this is gender, this is product and gender. Now these are products meant for male and female. Now the first watch here is meant for women, and the watch here means for men. And we have a shirt. We have shirts for male, and we have shirts for women. Yes, we have shirts for women. Now we want to arrange criteria, bring out a column where we will identify this. Is it for women or for men? So what we need to do here is say we write W. Now if you say enter and say Control E, flash fill will not recognize all you have done, because at this point when it comes to a separate figure, it needs more information to feed on. So you need to give it more information to feed on. You see what happened here? What it did was, in as much as you put W, which is for this, it recognizes this beginning W, which is for this, and it took X, which is for shirt, Now that is not what the system need to do. Let's undo this and say what you now need to do after you're done with the first one. You still need to key in the second one, which is what? M. At this point you say enter. So when you come to the next one, what you need to do, you say Control E. So once you put in Control E, it will recognize the what you are trying to do. You are trying to take out those product lines that belongs to the agendas, which is this, like you can see here. So now the everything we've been doing, we've been using Control E to do them. Those are the actions. Now let's look at what we do with dates. Wow, wonderful. A lot of time we were given dates, we have dates, we have to separate dates. Now, like this date comes in a text format where you have two on it, in between it, and you want to separate them. Okay, so perhaps we can separate the first date from the second date. So this is like a starting date to the end date, this date to this date. So what you can do most time, I advise people to set their system, format your Excel when it comes to dating. Format your Excel according to that date format that you have here. So the date format here says YYYYYYYY, which is year, and MM, which is month, and DD, which is date. So what am I saying? Now we'll go to our ribbon here at date. So what we'll do, we'll pick this part. So we see date, we see date. Now you can see this is 2012-03-14. This is year, month, and day. We say okay. So we formatted this cell. All we need to do, the first date we can as well say 2021-07-06. I will say enter. So once I say enter, I can use Control E on this. So it will give me all the days as I have it, all the dates. Now undo this, and we can as well drag. When we drag this down, what the system will do, the system will count number of days. That's what system does. System recognizes days. Now it's saying 2021 7th is July 6th. So the next one picked July 7th, July 8th, July 9th, on like that. So what you need to do, you need to click. It's not by series, so it's filled by series. You can see filled series. So what you need to do is say no, flash fill. You want flash fill. So where it will pick whatever it's being written here and here. So instead of separating these with Delima, you can say, okay, when we are doing Delima separation, where we separate to and date and keep them separate, you can as well come here and do for the next one by saying 2022-01-01. Then you also come here and say Control E. So the system recognizes this date. Yes, this is what the system does. Now, aside from the concatenation formula we gave the other time, I know I've shared a lot of concatenation formula where we bring in both dates, convert them into text. What we can as well do is, since they are on text, as long as you are putting a text value in them, they become text. Now we want to bring these dates and these dates together. See here. Now we are saying 2021-07-02 and say 2. Now we are turning it back to the way it was when we started, just the way we have it in column A. So we now say to 2022-01-01. Say enter. Now we want to return everything from here to look like this. So most time the data are given to you in this format and in this format, but you needed to upload both dates together. How do you do them? So how you do them is just key in this and come here and say Control E. So the system takes care of this and even recognizes it as date. So you can see the system take care of this. Now if you look at this to this closely, you will find your dates within them being the same thing. So that's what the system does. And again, if you want to also separate and bring them together, because most time you keep record for separate dates. So what you can also do is do exactly what we have done in this format. I believe you've learned much about flash fill, and you can do more with flash fill. Don't forget to talk Excel with Raf. Thank you very much and have a nice day ahead. Bye. See you.